I've just come back from 2 weeks in Hong Kong, and it's a really interesting place. It's probably the place that most of you know as a stopover on a long flight to Europe or the UK. And you think of the big shiny Nathan Road where many of the hotels are. You stay the night, you look at the shops, and then you leave again. Well, we've just spent 2 weeks getting much more involved in the daily life and routine of people in Hong Kong, and it's really interesting. The first thing is that walking around Hong Kong is you're really safe. The murder rate is almost nil. I think they're 111th in the world, and people really are too busy going about their own lives to stop and kill you on the street. So it's a really safe place to walk around. The second thing is that there's a phenomenal amount of people crammed into Hong Kong. The amount of people per square kilometre is unbelievable. So there's a lot of people to move from place to place in terms of transport. And you can see how these people have a Buddhist philosophy, because when you're dealing with lots of people trying to move around, you need to be patient and you need to wait. Luckily there, to deal with that, they've got an incredible transport system. So you see the train doors closing, and you go, darn, I've missed the train. And you look up at the sign that goes, next train 1 minute. You think, oh, okay. We probably never waited more than 4 or 5 minutes for any train the whole time we were there. So that's really cool. The next thing that's really interesting is when you look at the buildings, they're actually designed with little Buddhist prayer spaces, places for incense to burn, as part of the architecture. Wouldn't it be great here, we're a Christian country, if we actually incorporated Christian features into our architecture, that there were little prayer spaces or little reminders of Christian life embedded into the walls of the buildings. I think it'd be a great idea. Better talk to the School of Architecture about that, I guess. You'd think in a place so crowded that you couldn't get away from it all, but you can. There are plenty of places still to go in Hong Kong, and admittedly it took us three trains and 2 buses, but we certainly got out into the most beautiful countryside. And sometimes way up on hills you find these gorgeous shrines for people who have died, and there's an amazing respect for the dead. I think Ching Min it's called. There were people going to this place, I'm not sure the name of it. We used to always think this place was the Temple of the 10,000 Buddhas, right? We went there twice going, we're going to see this place this time, and it's only 25 years down the track we found we were going to the wrong place. There's this amazing place with all these little garages full of compartments. So it turns out these are places where you can store the ashes of your family members who have passed away. And people go there. We were there in a particular time when it's popular to do this, and the people were crowding in flocks to light incense and to set off fireworks and to remember their dead. And there's an amazing respect and love for those memories. It's really powerful to see families struggling along in the heat, elderly people just ploughing on through the crowds to get to these places that are up on hillsides and pay respect to their dead. One of the things that is hard to look at there though is the poverty. There are really, really wealthy people there, and there are many, many people who are very, very poor. There was a call while we're there, there's a movement to raise the minimum wage. I think it's happening this month or next month, from something like $6.50, which is about not much more than $1.20 or so New Zealand. So the minimum wage has been pretty low, and I don't think there's any kind of pension. So it's quite common to see very elderly women sweeping the floors of the airport or pushing big like kind of trolleys of cardboard that they've collected to get some money, or just begging in the street. And that was probably the hardest thing, was people that could have been my mother begging in the street. So there's a lot of great things going on in this incredible place, and there is some really hard things to see as well. The thing is, though, that there is a beautiful spirit amongst the people. There is this patience, this self-reliance, this drive to get on with the job. Another thing that kind of annoyed me, I guess, was this new obsession with devices. When you get on the train, you stop at the platform, every single person pulls out a device. And I've heard it's a bit like that on the buses here now, but everybody is focusing on their device, so no one's talking. And no one's even noticing what's going on around them. And that maybe is something we all need to address in the future, is that intense focus on technology, maybe to the detriment of our concern for the people around us. But overall, the place is a fascinating, vibrant, powerful community. I don't like the poverty. I do like the beauty of the surroundings. Surprisingly, I love the busyness, which I wouldn't like if it was my daily job, I think. When I'm on holiday, it's different. But there is a spirituality that's evident through these people's lives. There is incense burning everywhere. There are people with altars in their homes. There are statues of Buddha everywhere. There is that respect for the dead. There is also huge care for the elderly. Everywhere you go, you see people bringing people out for a walk, just letting them stretch their legs at snail's pace. They're not ignored if they've got family members. And so, although it's a completely different culture to ours in so many ways, there's an incredible beauty in the Buddhist philosophy. Of course, there's Christians here too. Big signs with Jesus saves and trust in the Lord, and but not so common over there. Certainly, I saw some huge Catholic schools, so there must be some pretty big Catholic communities in Hong Kong that I haven't tapped into yet. I guess the other thing that's interesting is the huge amount of imported maids and nannies from the Philippines and from Malaysia, and they're not paid much. And on their day off, there's nowhere for them to go, so they all go to the street and they sit in great lines in the street, put out their cardboard, get out their picnic baskets for the day, and socialise with one another. And it's another whole level of life going on that we probably wouldn't understand. But they pray together too, and sing, and praise God in their way. And so, yeah, although it's a really contrasting, there's this incredible depth of spirituality that is prevalent throughout the whole of Hong Kong. It's fascinating, and I'd love to get inside someone's head and work out how you balance all those things that are going on in such a busy, vibrant community. The thing is, there is faith, and there is trust in life is going to be better, and we've got to keep moving forward, and you've got to have hope, and you've got to keep pursuing your goal of goodness and always facing forward. And in that respect, it's what we're all doing, and hopefully we can keep on doing it in peace.